Let me ask you a question. Why is it that two people can start at the same point in life, same city, same school, maybe even the same job, and yet 20 years later, one of them is wealthy, living with freedom and choices, while the other is still struggling, barely keeping up with bills? Is it luck? Is it talent? Or maybe it's education? Harv Eker, in his book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, gives us a surprising answer. None of those things are the real reason. The real difference lies in something you cannot see, but you live with every single day. He calls it your money blueprint. Think of it as the financial programming of your mind. Just like a thermostat controls the temperature of a room, your money blueprint controls the level of wealth you're comfortable with. And here's the shocking part. Unless you change this blueprint, you will always return to the level of money your mind believes you deserve, no matter how much you earn or lose. Imagine this. A person wins the lottery, suddenly becoming a millionaire overnight. We've all heard the stories. Within a few years, most of them are broke again. Why? Because their inner thermostat was set at just enough to get by, not at abundance. On the other hand, look at self-made millionaires who lose everything in a crash. Often, within a few years, they rebuild their wealth, sometimes even bigger than before. It's not luck. It's not fate. It's their blueprint. Their mind is programmed for wealth. So even when circumstances knock them down, they bounce back. Your outer world is just a reflection of your inner world. If you want permanent wealth, you must first upgrade the operating system in your mind. Now, let's get brutally honest. Most of us were not programmed for wealth. We grew up hearing things like, money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are greedy, you have to work hard just to survive. Think about it. How many times as a child did you hear your parents fighting about money? Or maybe you saw them stressed about bills. All those experiences planted seeds in your subconscious. You didn't just hear them. You absorbed them, and they became your financial truth. Eker calls this the conditioning process. From childhood, you've been unconsciously writing the script that dictates your financial life today. If your parents believed money was scarce, chances are you now see money as scarce. If they believed wealth was evil, you might subconsciously push it away even if you desire it. Here's the hard pill to swallow. Your current financial situation is not an accident. It's the direct result of your money blueprint. And if you do nothing about it, your future will look like your present. Maybe slightly better, maybe slightly worse, but always within the limits of your inner script. That's why you must become aware of your programming, because awareness is the first step to change. Once you recognize that your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions about money were handed down to you, you gain the power to rewrite them. Think of it as uninstalling an old, buggy software and replacing it with a faster, wealth-oriented version. Eker tells us that rich people and poor people don't just have different bank accounts. They have completely different ways of thinking. The poor believe life happens to them. The rich believe they create their life. The poor blame the economy, the government, their job, their upbringing. The rich take full responsibility. The poor see obstacles. The rich see opportunities. This is not about who works harder. In fact, some of the hardest working people in the world struggle financially their whole lives. Why? Because they're running on a poor money blueprint. They're digging with a spoon when the rich are building with machines. Effort matters, yes, but only when it's powered by the right mindset. So how do you change it? The first step is to stop blaming and start owning. Rich people don't say, I can't afford it. They ask, how can I afford it? That small shift in language opens up creativity, possibilities, and action. Poor people see money as survival. Rich people see money as freedom, as a tool to create, to grow, to serve. If your inner voice right now is whispering, but money isn't everything, understand this. That's also part of your programming. Money by itself may not buy happiness, but lack of money definitely brings stress, limitation, and pain. When you have more than enough, you can live on your terms, help others, and make a real impact. Pause for a moment and reflect. What are your honest thoughts about rich people? Do you secretly judge them as greedy? Do you believe wealth is out of reach for people like you? Do you get uncomfortable talking about money? These are all signs of your current blueprint. The millionaire mind begins when you dare to shine a light on those beliefs and ask, Is this serving me, or is this keeping me trapped? Remember, your mind is like a garden. If it's filled with weeds of doubt and scarcity, no matter how much water you pour, the flowers of wealth won't grow. You need to pull out those weeds and plant new seeds. Seeds of abundance, responsibility, and possibility. And here's the truth. Once you change your inner world, your outer world will start shifting automatically. You'll notice opportunities you ignored before. You'll take bolder actions because you'll feel worthy of success. You'll attract people, ideas, and circumstances that align with your new belief system. It's not magic. It's psychology. What you focus on expands, and what you believe becomes your reality. That's why the first secret of the Millionaire Mind is not about business, investments, or even money itself. It's about your inner game. Change that, and you change everything. Harv Eker introduces a powerful concept and secrets of the Millionaire Mind called the Wealth Files, mental differences between how rich people think versus how poor and middle-class people think. These are not small differences. They're huge, fundamental contrasts that separate abundance from scarcity, success from struggle, and freedom from financial slavery. The fascinating part is this. Once you start to recognize these differences, you'll see them everywhere, in your own thinking, in your family, in your colleagues, and in society at large. And you'll realize that wealth is an accident. It's a pattern, a way of thinking, a set of mental files that either push you toward success or trap you in mediocrity. Let's start with the first file. Rich people believe, I create my life. Poor people believe, life happens to me. This is perhaps the most crucial difference. Rich people take 100% responsibility. They know they are the authors of their story. If they don't like where they are financially, they change the script. Poor people, on the other hand, often play the role of the victim. They blame the economy, the government, their boss, their family, even fate. Victim thinking is comfortable because it allows you to escape responsibility. But here's the harsh truth. If you keep giving away responsibility, you also give away your power. The rich claim their power. The poor give it away. That's why the first wealth file is about stepping out of victimhood and into ownership. The second wealth file, rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game not to lose. Picture two people in a football match. One plays boldly, aiming to score goals and win. The other plays cautiously, hoping only not to lose by too many points. Who do you think will succeed? Rich people go after wealth unapologetically. They aim high. They want financial freedom, not just survival. Poor people, however, settle for enough to get by. They dream small, aim small, and act small. And guess what? They get small results. If your goal is simply pay the bills, that's all you'll ever do. If your goal is financial independence, you'll find ways to make it happen. The target you set determines the energy you unleash. Another striking file is this. Rich people are committed to being rich. Poor people only want to be rich. This is a game changer. Everyone says they want to be rich, but wanting is useless. Commitment is what separates dreamers from doers. A committed person takes consistent action, invests in learning, takes calculated risks, and stays focused despite obstacles. Someone who only wants will give up when things get hard, distracted by excuses or fears. Eker says it bluntly. If you are not fully, totally, and genuinely committed to creating wealth, chances are you won't. Wealth doesn't come to those who half try. It comes to those who make it non-negotiable. Now, let's talk about comfort zones. Rich people think big. Poor people think small. This one is personal. Most people think small because they're afraid of rejection, afraid of failure, afraid of standing out. They play it safe. But rich people think big because they know small thinking leads to small living. Thinking big isn't about arrogance. It's about service. The more people you impact, the more wealth you can create. If you solve problems for one person, you make a small income. If you solve problems for 1 million people, you make a fortune. Thinking big forces you to grow, to innovate, to contribute. And in return, it expands your wealth in your life. Here's another crucial wealth file. Rich people focus on opportunities. Poor people focus on obstacles. Picture this. Two people look at the same business idea. The poor person says, it's too risky. What if it fails? What if I lose money? The rich person says, what if it works? What if it changes my life? Poor people are experts in spotting why things won't work. Rich people are experts in spotting why they can. And here's the key. Both are right. Because what you focus on expands. If you look for obstacles, you'll find them. If you look for opportunities, you'll find them too. The difference is that one perspective leads to action and growth, while the other leads to paralysis and regret. One of the boldest wealth files is this. Rich people admire other rich and successful people. Poor people resent them. Think about it. How often do you hear people badmouth billionaires or roll their eyes when someone drives a luxury car? That energy is toxic. If you secretly resent the rich, you are subconsciously pushing away wealth because you don't want to become what you despise. Rich people, however, celebrate success. They use it as inspiration. They think, if they can do it, I can too. That simple shift changes everything. Because admiration attracts while resentment repels. If you want to be wealthy, start blessing wealth wherever you see it. Celebrate it. Because what you bless, you attract. There are many more wealth files Eker shares. Rich people associate with successful people, while poor people surround themselves with complainers. Rich people are willing to promote themselves, while poor people shrink back out of fear of judgment. Rich people manage their money. Poor people mismanage it. Rich people learn and grow constantly. Poor people think they already know enough. Each of these files is like a lens. If you wear the poor lens, you'll see limitation. If you wear the rich lens, you'll see possibility. Change the lens, and your entire reality changes. And here's the deeper point. None of these wealth files are genetic. You weren't born with them. They are learned patterns of thinking, which means they can also be unlearned and replaced. That's the empowering part. You don't have to keep living with the mental files you inherited from your parents, your culture, or your past. You can install new files, wealth files that align with abundance, growth, and success. But like a computer upgrade, you must consciously choose it. You must delete the old files of fear, victimhood, and resentment, and replace them with the new files of responsibility, opportunity, and growth. So, the question is, which files are running your life right now? Are you playing to win or playing not to lose? Do you admire wealth or resent it? Do you see opportunities or only obstacles? Awareness is the first step, but awareness must lead to choice. And choice must lead to action. That's how you begin living with the mindset of the rich. We've established that your money blueprint, your inner script, determines your outer wealth. We've also seen how the rich and poor operate with completely different wealth files, different ways of thinking about money, opportunity, and success. But now comes the big question. How do you actually change it? How do you reprogram a blueprint that's been running your life since childhood? This is where Harv Eker gets practical. He shows us that wealth isn't just about positive thinking or wishing harder. It's about taking deliberate, consistent steps to rewire your subconscious. And yes, it's absolutely possible. The first step is awareness. You cannot change what you don't recognize. Imagine trying to fix a computer, but refusing to look at the code. That's how most people treat their financial life. They're unhappy with their results, but never investigate the beliefs driving those results. So, the journey begins with honest reflection. Ask yourself, what did I hear about money growing up? What did I see my parents do with money? What emotional experiences around money shaped me? Did I hear we can't afford it all the time? Did I watch my parents fight about bills? Did I feel guilty asking for something expensive? Write it down. This exercise is powerful because it shines a light on the invisible forces that controlled you for years. The second step is understanding. Once you've identified those beliefs, you must understand that they are not truth. They are simply conditioning. Just because your parents believe money was hard to earn doesn't mean it's universally true. Just because you grew up thinking rich people are greedy doesn't mean that wealth automatically corrupts people. These beliefs are stories, and stories can be rewritten. Eker emphasizes that when you separate yourself from your conditioning, you gain power. You begin to realize, this is not me. This is just programming I absorbed. And if I learned it, I can unlearn it. The third step is disassociation. This is where you emotionally detach from those old beliefs. For example, if you've been carrying the idea that I'll never be rich, catch yourself in the act of thinking it. Say to yourself, that's not my voice. That's my old conditioning. That's not me. This conscious disassociation creates space for something new. Think of it like cleaning out a cluttered room. Until you remove the old furniture, there's no space for new pieces. Disassociation clears the room. The fourth step is reprogramming. Now that you've removed the weeds, it's time to plant new seeds. Eker suggests practical declarations, statements that directly oppose your old programming and affirm your new wealth files. For example, if your old belief was, money is the root of all evil, your new declaration could be, money is a tool that I use for good. If your old belief was, I can't afford it, your new declaration could be, I create ways to afford what I want. Say these declarations out loud, with energy every day. At first, it might feel silly, but repetition is how the subconscious learns. Just as your old blueprint was written through repeated messages in childhood, your new blueprint is written through repeated conscious affirmations now. But reprogramming doesn't stop at words. Action is critical. Every time you act in alignment with your new belief, you reinforce it. If your declaration is, I am excellent at managing money, then start by setting up a money management system. Even if you have only a small amount. If your declaration is, I deserve wealth, then allow yourself to accept opportunities, compliments, or money without guilt. Action is proof to your subconscious that you mean business. Without action, affirmations are just noise. With action, they become transformation. Eker also recommends environmental reinforcement. Surround yourself with people who think big, who talk about opportunities, who inspire you to rise. If you spend time with people who constantly complain, blame, and gossip, their energy will pull you back into your old blueprint. But if you associate with those who dream bigger and achieve more, their mindset will naturally influence you. Your environment is a mirror of your future. Change your environment, and you change what becomes normal for you. Another powerful tool for reprogramming is gratitude. Why gratitude? Because it rewires your brain to focus on abundance instead of scarcity. Poor thinking focuses on what's missing. Rich thinking focuses on what's present and possible. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for financially, even small things. Maybe it's the meal you enjoyed, the electricity that lights your home, or the phone in your hand. Gratitude shifts your vibration from lack to wealth, from fear to confidence. And when you live in gratitude, you attract more to be grateful for. One more key practice is visualization. Picture yourself living your wealthy life, not just in vague images, but in detail. Where are you living? How do you feel when you wake up? Who are you helping? Visualization isn't fantasy. It's training for your mind. When your subconscious repeatedly experiences wealth in your imagination, it becomes more comfortable pursuing it in reality. Remember, the brain cannot easily distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. That's why visualization is like rehearsing success before it arrives. Reprogramming your money blueprint is not an overnight process. It's like working out. You don't get fit by going to the gym once. You get fit by showing up consistently, challenging your limits, and staying committed. At first, your old beliefs will resist. That's normal. But the more you practice awareness, disassociation, declarations, action, environment, gratitude, and visualization, the weaker those old beliefs become. Eventually, they're replaced with empowering ones. And once your inner blueprint changes, your outer results will follow, often faster than you expect. So ask yourself, are you ready to rewrite your financial script? Are you willing to step out of the old story and create a new one? Because make no mistake, the Millionaire Mind is not reserved for a chosen few. It's available to anyone willing to do the inner work. Your past doesn't have to dictate your future. Your old programming doesn't have to be your destiny. The pen is in your hand now. The question is, what story will you write next? Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how you manage the money you make. That's why we see people earning 6 figures still drowning in debt, while others with modest incomes slowly build security, freedom, and eventually wealth. Harv Eker puts it bluntly. If you cannot manage the money you have now, you will never be trusted with more. Money is like energy. It flows to those who respect it, value it, and manage it wisely. And the way you treat money today is exactly how you'll treat it when you have 10 times more. That's why learning money management isn't optional. It's essential. Eker introduces one of the most practical and transformational tools in his book, the jar system. It's a simple but powerful method to divide your money into different accounts, or jars, so that every dollar you earn has a purpose. Think of it as financial discipline made easy. Most people think, when I have more money, then I'll start managing it. But that's backward thinking. The Millionaire Mind says, I manage what I have now, and that discipline will attract more money. So let's break down this system. According to Eker, you should divide your income into 6 jars, or accounts. Necessities 55%. This jar is for your daily living expenses, rent, utilities, groceries, transportation. The essentials that keep your life running. Most people spend 100% of their income here, sometimes even more by taking loans. But in the Millionaire Mind, necessities are capped at 55%. Why? Because when you control your lifestyle instead of letting it control you, you create room for growth. Financial freedom, 10%. This jar is the golden goose. Money here is never to be spent, only invested. It could go into stocks, bonds, businesses, or anything that generates passive income. The goal is simple. Make your money work for you. Even if it's just a few dollars, the habit matters more than the amount. Over time, this jar builds a foundation for your financial freedom. Education, 10%. Rich people are lifelong learners. Poor people think they already know enough. This jar is dedicated to your personal growth. Books, courses, seminars, mentors. Why? Because your earning potential is directly tied to your learning. When you grow, your income grows. Every dollar invested in yourself multiplies in your future. Long-term savings for spending 10%. This jar is for big purchases, a vacation, a new gadget, a down payment on a car. Instead of using debt or credit cards, you save ahead. This not only reduces stress, but also trains your brain to delay gratification. Wealthy people plan their spending. Poor people spend impulsively. Play, 10%. Yes, you read that right. 1 jar is for pure fun. Movies, fancy dinners, a spa day, anything that makes you feel rich right now. Why is this important? Because money is emotional. If you only save and sacrifice, you'll eventually rebel against your system. The play jar ensures you enjoy your money while still building wealth. It creates balance, discipline with joy. Give 5%. The last jar is for giving, charity, gifts, helping others. Rich people understand that money is a flow. When you give, you signal abundance. You tell your subconscious, I have more than enough to share. And what you put out comes back multiplied. Giving also connects you to a greater purpose beyond yourself, which makes wealth meaningful. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great, but I can barely cover my expenses now. How can I divide into jars? Eker's answer is simple. Start small. If you can't divide $1,000, divide $100. If you can't divide $100, divide $10. If you can't divide $10, divide $1. The point is not the amount, but the habit. When you train your brain to manage small sums, it naturally prepares to manage larger ones. Remember, money is a magnifier. If you mismanage little, you'll mismanage a lot. If you manage little, you'll manage a lot. The brilliance of the jar system is that it rewires your relationship with money. Suddenly, you're not just reacting, you're directing. Instead of money controlling you, you're in control. Each jar reminds you that wealth isn't just about survival. It's about freedom, growth, enjoyment, and contribution. This holistic approach creates a sense of balance and empowerment that most people never experience. And here's the psychological kicker. When you divide your money intentionally, you send a signal to your subconscious that you are capable, disciplined, and worthy of more. That's when opportunities, ideas, and income start flowing. People think money management is boring. In reality, it's one of the most liberating skills you can ever learn. Imagine the peace of knowing your bills are covered, your future is secured, your dreams are funded, your fun is guilt-free, and your giving is generous. That's not boring. That's freedom. Think of it like a garden. If you just throw all your seeds in one patch and hope something grows, you'll get chaos. But if you divide your garden into sections, vegetables here, flowers there, fruit trees in another spot, you get order, beauty, and abundance. The jar system is exactly that for your money. It creates order where there was chaos, purpose where there was confusion, and growth where there was stagnation. The Millionaire Mind doesn't say, "I'll manage money when I have more." It says, "I'll manage money now, so I'll attract more." This is a shift that separates those who stay broke from those who become financially free. Your financial future doesn't begin when you hit a big salary or win the lottery. It begins the moment you start managing what you already have. That's when the universe or God or life, however you want to see it, says, "This person is ready for more." So the challenge is clear. Will you continue living paycheck to paycheck, letting money slip through your fingers? Or will you take control, even if it means starting with just a single dollar divided into jars? Remember, small disciplines lead to big transformations. The jar system isn't just about money. It's about creating the habits, mindset, and structure of a millionaire long before the millions arrive. And once those habits are in place, the millions almost become inevitable. Let's talk about something most people ignore when they think about wealth: identity. You see, money is not just about numbers, investments, or bank accounts. It's also about who you believe you are at the core. Your identity creates a ceiling. If deep down you don't believe you're the kind of person who deserves to be wealthy, you will always sabotage your success. You'll spend impulsively. You'll undercharge for your work. You'll hesitate to grab opportunities. Not because you're incapable, but because your subconscious identity doesn't match abundance. Harv Eker makes this very clear. You will never out-earn your self-image. Your income can grow temporarily, but unless your identity grows with it, you will fall back to where your self-concept is comfortable. Think about it. If you identify yourself as someone who just gets by, you'll make choices that align with that identity. You might avoid investing because that's for other people. You might decline a big opportunity because "I'm not ready." You might secretly feel guilty when you make more and find ways to lose it. On the flip side, if you see yourself as a wealth creator, someone who attracts abundance and multiplies it, your actions will naturally align with that self-concept. You'll negotiate harder, think bigger, and step into opportunities that others shy away from. Your identity drives your behavior, and your behavior drives your results. Eker points out another trap: the deservability issue. Many people unconsciously believe they don't deserve wealth. Maybe it's because of guilt. They don't want to outshine their family or friends. Maybe it's because of shame. They've made mistakes in the past and feel unworthy of a better future. Or maybe it's because of cultural conditioning, the belief that being rich means you're greedy or selfish. Here's the truth: none of that is real. It's just programming. But as long as you believe you don't deserve wealth, you'll push it away every time it comes near. The Millionaire Mind operates on a different belief. I am worthy of abundance, and the more I have, the more I can contribute. This brings us to one of the most powerful emotional alignments with money: seeing wealth as service. Poor thinking views money as selfish. Rich thinking views money as impact. When you have more, you can give more. When you have financial freedom, you can create jobs, donate to causes, invest in solutions, support your family, and live a life that inspires others. Money amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, wealth makes you more generous. If you're creative, wealth funds your creativity. If you're a problem solver, wealth gives you the tools to solve problems on a bigger scale. This shift from guilt to service dissolves the emotional resistance many people feel about money. Another emotional alignment Eker teaches is about comfort with wealth. Poor people are uncomfortable with the idea of being rich. They see wealth as distant, intimidating, or even dirty. Rich people normalize it. They're comfortable talking about money, managing money, and growing money. This comfort doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from familiarity. The more you expose yourself to wealth, by reading financial books, networking with successful people, or even walking through expensive neighborhoods, the more your subconscious accepts it as possible for you. That's why one powerful exercise is to simply upgrade your environment. Visit places where wealthy people go. Sit in a 5-star lobby. Test drive a luxury car. Your brain will start to say, this isn't foreign. This is part of my world. Let's also talk about fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of loss. These emotions paralyze many people. But here's the twist. Rich people feel fear too. They just don't let it stop them. They move forward despite fear. Poor people wait until they feel ready, which often means never. Eker says, if you're not growing, you're dying. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal that you're expanding beyond your comfort zone. And guess what? That's exactly where wealth lives. The millionaire mind doesn't eliminate fear. It redefines it. It sees fear as energy, proof that you're pushing into new territory. The question is not, will I be scared? The question is, will I let fear control me? One of the deepest insights from Eker is this. Your outer world is a mirror of your inner world. If you're constantly stressed about money, it's not just a financial issue, it's an emotional one. Stress reflects scarcity. Confidence reflects abundance. When you heal your inner relationship with money, your guilt, shame, fear, and doubt, your outer money situation begins to shift almost automatically. That's why mindset work is not just theory. It has real, tangible effects on your bank account. Let's pause here. Ask yourself, when you think of yourself, do you see someone who is capable, worthy, and deserving of wealth? Or do you see someone who isn't cut out for it? Do you feel guilty about the idea of having more than your peers? Do you secretly fear being judged if you succeed? These emotions reveal your inner script. And here's the empowering truth. You can rewrite it. You can choose a new identity, one that says, I am a wealth creator. I am worthy of abundance. I am comfortable with money flowing into my life. And the more I have, the more I can give. This isn't just motivational fluff. It's psychological reality. Your brain is always looking to prove your identity right. If you identify as broke, your brain will find ways to keep you broke. If you identify as wealthy, your brain will find ways to create wealth. The question is, which identity do you want to reinforce? At the end of the day, wealth is not just about the numbers in your account. It's about alignment, aligning your beliefs, your identity, your emotions, and your actions with abundance. When those four align, wealth becomes natural, almost inevitable. The millionaire mind doesn't chase money. It attracts it because everything inside is already aligned with prosperity. We walked through some powerful truths from Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. The inner blueprint that controls your wealth, the wealth files that separate the rich from the poor, the tools to reprogram your conditioning, the money management jar system, and a role of identity and emotional alignment in building lasting abundance. But now comes the most important part. How do you actually live this out? How do you take these ideas and turn them into a daily practice that transforms your financial destiny? Because inspiration without action fades. Motivation without implementation dies. To truly live the millionaire mind, you need habits, rituals, and a commitment to applying these principles consistently until they become your new normal. The first step is commitment. Rich people are committed to being rich. Poor people only wish for it. That's not just a catchy line. It's a mindset filter. Ask yourself, am I genuinely committed to creating wealth, or do I just like the idea of it? Commitment means you'll do whatever it takes, ethically, of course. It means when obstacles show up, you don't quit, you adapt. It means you treat wealth as a must, not a maybe. Write down your commitment. Say it out loud. Something like, I commit to creating financial freedom for myself and my family. I commit to learning, growing, managing, and multiplying money until wealth becomes my reality. This verbal and written declaration sets the tone. It tells your subconscious, this is who I am now. The second step is daily awareness. Your old programming won't vanish overnight. Those negative thoughts, I can't afford it, money is hard come by, I'm not good with money, will still pop up. That's normal. The key is catching them in the act. Every time a limiting belief shows up, pause and replace it with a wealth declaration. If your mind says, I can't afford it, you counter with, how can I afford it? If your mind says, I'm not good with money, you counter with, I learn and grow in money management every day. This practice reprograms your brain in real time. Over weeks and months, those small corrections add up to a completely new blueprint. The third step is money management discipline. Use the JAR system. Even if it's just a few dollars at first, split it into necessities: financial freedom, education, long-term savings, play, and giving. This is not just about money. It's about identity. Every time you divide your income intentionally, you reinforce the identity of someone who manages money like the rich. And remember, wealth doesn't come from what you know. It comes from what you consistently do. The JAR system creates a habit of abundance that compounds over time. The fourth step is continuous growth. Poor people stop learning after school. Rich people never stop. Commit to reading books about wealth, attending seminars, learning new skills, and surrounding yourself with mentors who think bigger than you. Make education one of your lifelong JARs, not just financially, but in your schedule too. Spend time every week upgrading your knowledge. Why? Because your income rarely exceeds your personal growth. If you want your net worth to rise, your self-worth must rise first. The fifth step is environment. You cannot live a millionaire mind in a toxic, negative environment. Who you hang out with is who you become. If you spend time with complainers, gossipers, and victims, you'll absorb their scarcity. If you spend time with dreamers, doers, and winners, you'll absorb their abundance. Make a conscious decision. Who will you spend less time with, and who will you spend more time with? Sometimes this means tough choices, but your financial destiny depends on it. Remember, your income is often the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. The sixth step is service. Wealth without purpose feels empty. The millionaire mind sees money not as an end, but as a tool for greater impact. Decide now, how will you use wealth to serve? Maybe it's supporting your family, funding education, giving to charity, or building something meaningful. When your wealth is tied to a purpose bigger than yourself, your motivation becomes unstoppable. You're not just making money for luxury, you're making money for legacy. And that kind of drive is far more powerful than material desire alone. The seventh step is celebration and gratitude. The poor focus on what's missing. The rich focus on what's present and possible. Every day, practice gratitude for the money you already have and the opportunities ahead. Celebrate small wins, saving your first $100, investing your first $1,000, or even sticking to your JAR system for a month. Why? Because celebration signals to your subconscious that you are on the right path. Gratitude shifts your energy from scarcity to abundance, and what you appreciate appreciates. Finally, the eighth step is fear mastery. You will feel fear as you grow. That's inevitable. But fear doesn't mean stop. It means go. It means you're moving into new territory. Rich people feel fear and act anyway. Poor people feel fear and freeze. The millionaire mind doesn't wait for courage. It creates courage by acting. Every bold step you take shrinks fear's power. Every time you move despite uncertainty, your comfort zone expands, and so does your wealth. So here's the final challenge. From this day forward, live with intention. No more drifting, no more excuses. Reprogram your blueprint. Adopt the wealth files. Manage your money. Align your identity with abundance, and take daily action. Wealth is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of design. And you are the designer. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Do you want to be in the same financial place you are today? Stressed, limited, reactive? Or do you want to be free, confident, abundant, living life on your terms? The choice is in your hands, right here, right now. The millionaire mind is not about waiting for some miracle. It's about creating the miracle by changing the way you think, feel, and act about money today. So declare it, own it, live it. I am a wealth creator. I am worthy of abundance. I think like the rich, act like the rich, and live like the rich. Wealth flows to me, through me, and because of me. I am the master of my financial destiny. That's the millionaire mind. And when you live it every day, wealth doesn't just become possible. It becomes inevitable.